Morning guys. Well, we got a busy one today. I'm heading over to the 41.36 to drop off the auger, to Country Road Cure, and also to pick up the concrete mixer and the welder from Simple Life Reclaim. We're going to start the well house today, and I want to use the concrete mixer to mix all the concrete up for the holes, and also I want to get the welder to be able to extend that sawmill out so I can cut some longer logs. So I'm going to bring you guys along this morning on my little journey until we get back to the cabin and start building the pump house. All right, let's deliver this. I hear you. I hear you. They don't even know I'm coming. Excuse me, sir. Special delivery.
What's up, man? That's right, bringing me my new auger.
Yes, sir.
Well, you think you're cool because you can carry it with one hand?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I have been called the brawn before, not the brains.
Dude, that's one's the double handles like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Heck yeah, man. Appreciate it, dude.
Not a problem. All right, I'm gonna hang out with my buddy for a little while, and then I'll bring you back whenever we go over to the Simple Life Reclaim and drop off the paint sprayer and their solar cooler. Come on. All right, guys, we're heading down the hill now. We're gonna see what Simple Life Reclaim's up to. Go ahead and drop off this paint sprayer and pick up the concrete mixer and the welder.
Couple layers. I'm just gonna sand this guy, and then we might be ready to paint this sucker.
Nice.
Looking good, eh?
Oh yeah. Ooh, look at that. Oh, I done found a mud monkey.
What is going on, Seth?
Oh, I feel your pain, buddy. I feel your pain. I remember, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago? I sent you a super chat for a beer because you was doing something very similar.
It was insane. Trying to get all the tops real quick before I can slide it. Get more mud. Trying to use what I got before I gotta go grab one.
Yep. Gotta get close though. It's amazing once you start putting this mud on there how it starts really looking like it's getting close.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Little by little.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hang out with my buddy right here for a little while. I'll pick y'all back up when we're loading up the concrete mixer. What's going on, guys? Well, I'm back. I'm back to Come On Mountain. Well, yesterday ended up being a busy day. I didn't actually get back to the property until somewhat late, but I did end up getting what I went over to the 41.36 for. I ended up getting a concrete mixer, and I got a welder, which we'll see over there here in a minute. And then this morning, I went up to S&W and Ace, and I got a wheelbarrow, and I got the metal deck for the pump house. Yesterday, whenever I got home, I actually ended up milling up some cedar, a little cedar log that I had there. I wanted to see what it looked like, but I did find out something when I was doing that. I can't even actually cut 10-foot logs on that sawmill. The longest I could get was 9'6", and that's not gonna work. So that was one of the reasons why I went and picked up the welder. Now, I've already tried this welder out. It is not very good. They warned me before they let me use it that they couldn't get it to work, and I am able to get it to actually work a little bit, but it doesn't have much power. And I even got some smaller 7018s to go along with it, and it still doesn't even look like it's really wanting to weld very much. But I do believe I can get this sawmill together, even with it not welding very good at all. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to be able to stick. And also I bought a DeWalt grinder with some grinding blades and some cutting blades. So it doesn't matter how ugly it is, I can make it look good with the grinder. The reason why I got the cutting blades was, now I've tried to put these two sections together that somebody made, and I don't know who made it and how they cut it off here at the end. But this end right here is longer than that end right there. This section right here that's together, it doesn't look like it's too bad. I'm gonna get my speed square and level out and make sure that it's all nice and straight. I'm gonna go ahead and tack these together. I'm not gonna weld them 100%. And then I'm gonna pull my measurements off the end down to here and get the cutting wheel on and cut these two directly the same. That way I can slide it together to the existing sawmill, and then I'll weld those together too. It's not gonna be an easy little project with this welder barely working, because it's pretty bad, I ain't even gonna lie to you. But we're gonna make it do what it do. All right, well, let's get to it, because it's hot out here. All right, we got that section ground. Excuse the loud noise in the background. I have to have the big generator running to run this welder right here. She's an old beast. Didn't even have a plug. I had to unhook my wire from the well and wire it up just to be able to run it. I went ahead and ground all that down. The best thing that you can do when you have a welder that doesn't have nowhere near enough power is to make sure that the area that you're welding is extremely clean. Ground down any paint, rust, anything like that you got off of there will make it a whole lot better and make it to where the welder doesn't struggle as bad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and square this up, and then we're gonna go ahead and tack it together. Like I said, I'm not welding it 100% yet until I get the measurements for down here and get all of that cut square so I can slide it all the way up against there. Make sure that it's all square. I'll tack all the sections, and then I'll run the actual head of the mill all the way down to make sure it's gonna track correctly before I start welding it off. All right, we got them tacked off. It definitely ain't pretty by no means. But what you do there is you tack each corner, and right there, that'll keep it from kind of flexing and bending. Now I can pull my overall measurement and make some marks with the speed square and get those cut with the cutting wheel. All right, I'm gonna show you a little before and after before I cut the other side. So this is before. Looks like a pit bull chewed it off. And this is the after. Now, you see how much was cut off of that side? And right here is the line for this side, literally like a ½ inch. And that right there is about 2.5 inches. When this got cut to be taken apart, something must have happened. Quite a few inches is a big deal on something that needs to track straight. All right, let's get the other side cut. We're almost to the point of putting it back together. I went ahead and ran it all the way down the tracks, and it didn't jump off the track. There was a little bump on each of those spots, but once I weld it all, grind it all down nice and smooth, it should eliminate that. And the only thing left I'll have to do, I'll have to drill a couple of holes in the base to be able to screw it down to the platform. But we're making progress. We're making progress. This right here is going to make much longer boards than what we had before. Sun's starting to set though, and Margarita's going to be here soon, so I'm probably going to have to stop and go pick her up. I'm going to try to finish welding this out this evening. I'll probably have to drill the holes in the morning. Whew, that ended up being a mission with that welder that don't want to weld. But I did get it. It ain't pretty, but it'll hold. But I ended up getting it. Put some screws in there to hold it. Ended up welding it together. Seamed it right here. Now I am going to need to add another bunk in here somewhere. And then probably another one of those guides right there that'll block before it's over with. But I really don't have a whole lot of raw material right now to work with. I also seen in the last video in the comments about the water dripping on the blade, and yeah, typically they do have them. This particular one did not come with it, but I think I got a plan for that too. I think I'm going to take my old solar hanging bag shower and kind of modify it on there, hanging and dripping on the blade somehow for now, until I can order the actual piece that I can kind of custom fit on here. But here, let's walk it on down. Now that is a whole lot better. I can definitely log a lot bigger logs. I also fixed that clamp issue that I was talking about on the last video where the bolt was slipping. because that whole piece is broken, missing. So I ended up taking a piece of C-clamp that they had cut in half that they tried to use. Let me show you. But I took the C-clamp, I ground it down so it would fit down in this pipe right here, and then I welded it on the inside and right here on the outside, and now I can just tighten it up against the log with my hand instead of having to use that little wrench. And with these wide threads right here, it won't be slipping and pulling back. But all in all, pretty cool little project. I haven't welded nothing in a couple of years, but this welder right here is definitely on its last leg. This probably will be its last project, to be honest with you. But I'll probably end up getting another welder here soon anyways, and then I'll go ahead and weld those seams up a little bit better. But the seams are welded good enough to run this mill for right now. But before I take it apart and move it back to the 41.36, I would like to go ahead and get a little bit better weld on there so it doesn't bend or bow or anything like that. That way when they get it back over to the property, it's good to go. But it's almost dark on me. I ain't gonna get a chance to run a log down today, but we'll pick back up in the morning. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
Well, good morning. As y'all seen earlier, I went ahead and got everything ready for the project that me and Margarita here is about to get on today. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I'm really, really, really excited.
This is the first outdoor project that she's actually helped me with here at the cabin. She did help me rearrange the whole inside of the cabin and made it a lot more functionable. And honestly, the day-to-day has been so much better. So if you ain't checked that video out, go check it out. But today we're going to go ahead and set the poles for the well house and the solar room and get them all in the concrete, get them setting. That way they can have a day before I actually start building on them. Yeah. And then y'all seen earlier in the video that I extended the sawmill out to 20 foot. We're also going to get a log on the sawmill here later on in the video and test it and see how the new setup works. and we're actually going to teach Margarita here how to mill wood. She's seen the video that I put out last time about milling the video and got all excited, and she really wants to give it a shot. So we're going to get her on the mill and show her a couple of the basics and see how she does. I think she'll kill it.
I hope so.
But let me turn y'all around here. As you can see, I got the concrete mixer set up here. I got concrete on a pallet. I got the brand new auger right over there filled up and ready to go. Got my level and squares and all of that stuff right there. Got the wheelbarrow and some water sitting right there. That is some beautiful wood. I made some 1 by 6" siding for the pump house just to kind of test out and see what it would look like. I think it's going to look phenomenal. Now, the people over on my other channel, which is my vlog channel, where I talk about a lot of this behind the scenes stuff and why I do what I do and the processes that it takes to actually do a project like this, has actually already seen this cedar. And I've already talked about why I'm extending the sawmill and everything like that. So if you have not subscribed to Come On Keeping It Real yet, I'll put the link right here. Make sure that you go over there and subscribe, because I film it 5 days a week. And what I do is give a more behind the scenes, in depth of what's actually going on the homestead that day or that week, and a little bit of behind the scenes clips and stuff of what's actually getting accomplished throughout the week before the actual video on the main channel, this one, comes out. So if you think you'd be interested in that, make sure you go subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we do it 5 days a week. And we also take tours and stuff around the property, and just a little bit more in depth here on Come On Mountain. All right, enough of the talking. Are you ready to get at it?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's get it. All right, the first thing that we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna go ahead and pull this first stake right here. I'm gonna crank up the auger. We're gonna go ahead and set this first pole, make sure that it's all square and level, and we're gonna base all of our measurements for this pump and solar house off of that. We're also gonna do an extension off of the solar well house for like a laundry room, and that's gonna be a 10 by 10, and the actual solar pump house is going to be a 10 by 20. So it's going to end up being a pretty significant size structure whenever it's all said and done. I cannot actually wait to get this thing started. Let's get to digging. Alright guys, we got the hole dug. I did hit some rocks down there, so I didn't quite get to 2 foot, but I got real close. And I went ahead and bought the 8" auger bit for the auger that I got from Harbor Freight there, instead of the 6, which will actually give me a little bit more round of concrete, so I ain't really worried about that 6 inches. I am gonna go ahead and dump some 3/4 inch clean rock in the bottom of the hole to set the post down on before we pour the concrete. It'll just help with the post rotting out so fast. Alright guys, I went ahead and put some cross braces on here. These cross braces right here are actually the ones that I milled the other day on the last video, which is super cool that I can make my own wood, especially for stuff like this that you're going to use for bracing. But I went ahead and got it leveled. It's pretty close right now. I'm going to go ahead and put some of these stakes in the ground. They got the holes right there to screw through. I'm going to put them down here at the base. That way I can screw this brace to it. That's going to go ahead and lock up this 4x4 where it can't move around. And then we'll go ahead and mix some concrete and get the first one set.
I think he might know what he's doing. He might know one or two things about construction.
Follow me.
Yes, sir. You're not in the hole. What is that for? David, can you explain that to me since I don't know it?
So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm making sure there's no air pockets in the concrete down there and making sure that concrete gets all around the hole. It's called tamping. Because you don't want no air gaps down there.
Very interesting. So what's next?
We're just gonna, isn't something you have to do, but I would like for it to look as good as possible. So I'm just taking my little trowel here and smoothing it out a little bit.
Here's the foreman, the cutest foreman, just checking everything. Eclipse! Hold on.
Me or the other way?
Perfect.
All right, we got the first two set. How's it going so far, Margarita?
It's going pretty good. A lot of interesting things.
Well, she's learned how to use a level
Yes.
so far. She's starting to understand the tape measure a little bit, and she just got to make her first cut.
I did.
So we're gonna make a construction worker out of her yet.
Yes.
But we got 6 more posts that we need to get in the ground. But we do go ahead and have our first 2 up. We made sure that it was nice and square and level, and ran a string line, made sure that I had the right line that I wanted according to the cabin over there. Now we're gonna come off of these 10 foot. That's a 20-foot span right there. We're gonna come off 10 foot. I'm gonna put some stakes in the ground on each side, and then we're gonna do our diagonal measurement to make sure that we're square. Once I get those stakes to exactly where I know they're square, I'll pull them, drill a hole, and we'll start the process all over, getting these concreted in. Once we get the 4 up, then I'm gonna pull in 10 foot off of each side and put another post, because I'm gonna have a post in the center at 10 foot. That's also where our lean-to is actually gonna go ahead and kick out, because it's gonna be a 10 by 10. But it's hot out here. Are you hot?
It is really hot.
She was like, which way is the sun moving? She said it's gonna be directly over us here soon.
A few clouds over there, but
Yeah.
you can feel it.
I told her, welcome to my life. It's like that every day. All right, guys, let's get at it. All right, we got the 3rd post in. That one was harder than it needed to be. Had roots and stumps and had roots and rocks all in that hole. I had to fight for it. Now that we got the 3rd one, I'm gonna pull a 100-foot tape here down 20 foot, and then I'm gonna take a 2nd tape and pull off the other one 10 foot, and that right there will give me the X that I need. That'll be close enough for me to dig my hole, and then we'll go ahead and square it up. As you can see, a 10 by 20, pretty much perfect. It's within like a 16th, and you can't beat that. Whew, I'll tell you though, it seems like every hole I've dug, there's a rock or a root right there where I need the base to go. And it is made for leveling this thing a pain and a rump shaker. Come on. All right, let's get some concrete in this last hole right here, and then we'll go ahead and put our 10 foot in the center ones and also the lean-to ones. But this right here is always the most crucial thing, is getting the initial square. Once you get that, everything should fall in place. Whew, it's hot out here, guys. It is hot. You hot?
I'm hot. I'm very, very hot.
Yeah, it's about 3 o'clock right now, so we got that afternoon sun kicking, and there is no shade in sight except for way over there.
Yeah.
It's hot, but we're making progress. We got all 4 posts up. What do you think about it?
Ah, it's pretty cool. It was hard though. It was really hard, like the third one.
Yeah, the
a lot of work.
The third one kicked our butt because of rocks and
but it's coming along,
roots.
guys. I don't know anything.
All right, so what's our next step? I'm just kidding, guys. This is the first time that she's ever done this.
I'm like, I know he told me, but I don't remember, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. Hey, you want to know what I learned?
What'd you learn?
Not to throw the level.
Yeah,
thing.
she threw my level, guys.
I didn't throw it like boom. I just like, okay.
I told her, I said, that's one thing you don't throw as a level. I said, if it gets bent, it's no longer a level.
I know, but it worked. I mean, it works perfectly fine.
So speaking of level, what we're about to do is run some string lines, and we're going to use a string level right here on these 2 sides and back there. And I'm going to use that to be able to get my measurement for the 10-foot one in the middle that we're putting. And also I'm going to use those same string lines later to measure up and find out where I need to cut the top of the poles. That way I can get the pitch that I want on both sides. So this is an important string line, and before you take any measurements off of it, you want to go ahead and check again, make sure you're good and level. That way your measurements don't get off. I have 2 of these, so I'm going to leave one hanging on each one. That way throughout the project, until I get some base measurements marked, I don't have to worry about being off on my measurements. And there you have it. Make sure that your string line's tight. Whoa. All right, guys. We got the post in. Unfortunately, there's not going to be no milling no wood on this video right here. This right here took us all day.
Yeah. It's dark now.
It's almost dark right now. These holes were the hardest holes that I have ever dug in my life. Yes. So many roots, so many rocks. Look at all these rocks. Look at these rocks I was pulling out.
Yeah.
Of this. I actually had to get the backhoe to do this one right here, because the rocks were so big I couldn't even do it with the auger or a shovel or anything like that. Let me go ahead and back up from a distance and I'll show you what we're working with. Right here is the main section. That's for the well. That's the laundry room. And the lean-to off the front right here will be the solar room. As you can see, I used some taller posts right here and some shorter 10-footers right here to be able to get the drop that I wanted. And I'm going to make a level across there once I put up the 2x8s, and then go ahead and find out how much drop I want back there and go ahead and cut them off. But this was a lot of work, but it's looking good. Woo! Not too bad. Going to give you down the line, let you know that it's square. Bam, square. Let's do it again. And square. It definitely took some doing.
I did.
So what do you think about your first day doing construction?
Can I quit? No. There's like a lot that goes on in just this, you know. Every time I will go by construction, you just see the you know, the wood or whatever. Oh, that's easy. But when you're here and then you deal with roots and rocks and concrete and everything else, I am wore out today. I can tell you that. No, but it was super cool. He rocks. He's awesome. He works so hard.
All right, guys, I am whooped. Look at me. Here, I'll let her hold the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this.
Look at how sexy he looks.
Ooh. I put it in today, guys. I put it in. But I am beat. She's gonna go and take a hot shower.
Yes.
And go get us a pizza. And I'm gonna take a cold shower and start downloading this footage and start editing this video for you. So my day is only halfway over. Yeah, she's gonna get some sleep tonight and I'm gonna do some editing. But hey, that's the life of off-grid YouTubing. Come on. But until we see each other again, guys, come on. Let's go on another adventure.